What's going on, YouTube? Donnie with DER Reptiles here. Today, I got my girl, Pearl Hart. This is my female Super Mojave. She was off feed for like 2 months. And for the past 2 weeks, she's been eating. So, that's a good sign. Hopefully she'll stay on food and be ready to breed next season. But this is Pearl Hart, Super Mojave. Very tame girl. And today, we're going to talk about moving when you have a collection of snakes. And then there's going to be a question about how do you move rats when you breed rats? How do you move them? So I can pretty much figure out how to move the snakes, because when we had Hurricane Irma coming through Florida, this was before I started breeding rats. I got all my snakes, put them in bags, put them in shipping boxes, put all the racks and stuff in my car. I filled my trunk up with clothes and whatever else I could fit in there with them. And I drove to Oklahoma, which was about 20 hours. And then I set everything back up and put them in there. A week later, I packed everybody up and came back home. So I would imagine that's how the best way to move snakes. What I did is I just got shipping boxes, put some newspaper in the bottom of it, put these guys in a bag, made sure the bag stayed closed, placed them in the box, put more paper on the top, put the styrofoam down, and it was warm, so I wasn't worried about the temperature. And I sealed the box and kept them in the car. I ended up getting a motel room for the night part of the way there, so I just brought the boxes inside with me. And everybody did fine. I also had a bearded dragon and a leopard gecko at the time. They came with me also. So as you can tell, that was a pretty interesting trip. But that's how I would suggest moving snakes if you have a collection. I had, I believe, 16 or 17 at the time. And it worked out just fine. Everybody made it just fine. It was a couple months after my hatchlings hatched, and everything did good. But my question is when you're breeding rats, and say you move the 20 hours, how do you move them? In my mind, I'm thinking, well, you go to Walmart, you get you some Rubbermaid totes and poke some holes in them, and you put like a rabbit bottle on the side, you put some food in there with some bedding, and then the rats. Is that how you guys have done it in the past if you've moved with breeding rats? If so, comment below. I'd like to hear what you guys did if you moved, or what your thoughts on that situation would be. I'm not saying I'm moving anytime soon, but you never know what the world will bring to you, so just in case something happens, I'd like to kind of know what you guys' thoughts are on that. But now, I do want to cover something else, and we'll get that in the next clip. But I'm going to go ahead and get this girl put away because she did eat yesterday and I don't want to disturb her too much. But let's take a good look at her. She's got that yellow tin on the top of her. And then it goes to white for underneath. And that head pattern for the Super Mojaves. And I know some people already know what my plans are with her, but I'm going to breed a male albino to her and get all Mojaves het for albino. And then hopefully I get a few females and at least one male. And then I'm going to breed them together to hopefully get a cherry bomb. So that'll be hopefully next season. I can get that clutch out. And whenever that happens, I'm keeping one male out of the group, and I'm gonna sell all the, or I'm gonna keep one male, and I'm gonna keep all the females, and then if there's more than one male, I'm gonna sell the males. But let's go ahead and get into this next clip, and I want to go over something. And if DEA Exotics is watching this next clip is for you. So this is a small 3-drawer system that I mentioned in the comments, DEA. Now, I use this system for my superworms and my mealworms. Okay, so what I did was I pulled out the top and I cut out the bottom on the top drawer. I left about that much all the way around it. Okay, and then I got a piece of screen wire like you use for your screen windows and laid it on top. I cut it out to the measurement of the inside of it. Then I hot glued it real good in here. That way it stayed up here. Now, what you do is, you know, your mealworms are going to turn into beetles. So what I did was I had like 8 drawers of this set up. So I would put my mealworms just in one like this, and then I waited until they turned into beetles, and then I just put them in another drawer. And then after that, after they turned into beetles, because they go from worms into the little pupas and then into beetles, so I would take them after they turn into pupas and I'd put them in a different one. As soon as they turn into beetles, I would then put them in this top drawer with the screen in the bottom. I would include bedding in this one. I would put bedding in the bottom one, or in this one here. That way, when the beetles laid eggs, the eggs could actually fall through, and if the eggs didn't fall through and the eggs hatched and little mealworms came out, then the mealworms could fall through. Well, then after a time, I would go to this second drawer and I would kind of be looking around to see if there's any worms in there, and I noticed there was a lot of worms in there. That's when I would take this out and move it down and then put a fresh one here. That way you wouldn't have too many mealworms in one bucket. That's how I did my mealworms. Superworms is a little different. What I did with superworms is I just started them out in one with a solid bottom. And when I was wanting to breed them, what I would do is I would get the little 2-ounce deli cups and the ones with the lid on them, and I would put one superworm in there, put the cap on there, make sure there's holes in it, and I'd put them in a dark place. That would cause them to stress out and go into a pupa stage. I would leave it there until they turned into a beetle. Then I would do them the same way I did the mealworms. Have a screen bottom in the top, put some bedding in here, put the beetles in here, close it, put some beetles in here, or put some bedding in here, close it, and just let the system work. It works real well. You don't have to worry about sifting nothing because it's already there, and it just works. If you have any more questions, just either comment below or send me a message on Instagram, and I'll be glad to talk to you over the phone. It don't matter to me. So, DEA Exotics, that was for you, man. Hopefully that helps you out and gives you some ideas for breeding your superworms. Well, that's going to be my vlog for today. DEA Exotics, I hope that helps you out. I know you're trying to save some money and buying some mealworms and stuff, and I know you're wanting to breed them, so I hope that there will help you out. It's real easy to maintain. They do the work themselves. You know, it's very simple. And don't forget, everybody, comment down below if you've been breeding rats and you ended up moving maybe 1 hour or 20 hours across the US, and how did you do it, or how do you think the best way to do it is? Comment down below, subscribe, like, share, hit that notification bell, that way you know when I upload. Don't forget, we do have that 500 subscriber giveaway coming up. I think I'm up to 183 subscribers. They're going up. Let's just keep that number jumping. And don't forget about the DER Reptile swag at teespring.com/DER Reptiles. And until next time, I will see you guys later.